Yo, 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 GI Joburgers. So, I recently went to one of my favorite hi-fi stores, if you could even call them that. Electronic stores, pop culture, they sell on the side. And they have got Star Wars Vintage Collection action figures discounted by like 50%. Add to that the fact that I became a member and they took another $10 off that. So I got this very nice blind box. It is a Star Wars Vintage Collection Book of Boba Fett from Tatooine, apparently. And this is my very first blind box experience. Amazing. As I was saying, I got it kind of discounted. The price sticker reads $27. It was down from 54, so that's already 50% off. And then add minus 10 to that. I got it for 17, which is about 12 US. Not bad. It is 3 3/4 inch or 4-inch modern, if you want to call it that. And like I say, my first blind box experience, I don't know what to expect. Like, truly, this might be a repack. It was the only one in the bargain bin. The rest had been snatched up before the discounts began. And whoa, look what I find. Nothing. Just kidding. I opened this earlier. I couldn't resist. I did an unboxing before I rolled the camera. And I unwrapped these little tissue paper. Or it's actually like baking paper. It's quite hardy stuff, so it takes a few elbow grease to tear into it. Anyway, useless packaging aside, the figure is amazing. Oh my word. Yeah, dudes, this guy is some next level sculpting at this scale. Jeepers. I'm not mad about that blaster, but at least he holds it okay. I mean, something this dainty, with such very finely molded hands and rubbery grip, it could easily just fall out of the hand and into the carpet. But yeah, this is all right. He looks good holding it. Does get holstered. Soft goods. The articulation is, it's amazing for Star Wars. Truly is. It's amazing for any action figure. This guy is in danger of being probably the most nicely made. I mean, not only does he articulate well, but he doesn't feel like he's going to fall apart, which is oftentimes the trade-off with increased articulation at this scale. This guy is a hardy action figure. One bit of factory blemish there, but let's be honest, blind box or not, you're never going to see that part of the action figure anyway, so you take your chances. And it's very handily covered up by the jetpack, which so nice, so nice. Individuates that little, what is it, a sensor, an aerial, whatever it is. It's picked out in silver. It's standing away from, the mold separates it out. It's incredible, this figure. This tubing is flexible. So mixed medium use on the figure itself, different sort of densities of plastic and tolerances. Details and paintwork on point, of course. My favorite little feature here, not only does the rocket fire, but the blast effect is part of the sculpt. So it's probably molded in this sort of amber crystalline color and then just painted over, which has this lovely effect of like a solid medium and a blast effect. And it, oops, I'm trying to look at my camera screen, and it seats in there so nicely. Yeah, man, that is really, really cool. In addition to that, blast effects up the wazoo. Not that I'm a blast effects kind of guy, but hey, a little bit of extra plastic, right? Why not? It's a bit painful to try and get them in there, but they're in there very securely as a result. They sort of have a ridge to them. Yeah, which makes you think you're going to tear these little nozzles right off when you put them in. I don't think I'm going to be using them much. I just find that kind of motion is a little too much for a shelf display. Yeah, not big on the flying stuff anyway. if you ask me, Jon Favreau seems to think all the Mandalorians are basically Iron Man, the way they can take damage and fly around like Tony Stark. I mean, it's an oversimplification. I wanted the jetpacks to be a bit more nuanced, maybe a bit more limited in their use. Anyway, that's my commentary on Mandalorian Season 3, amongst other points. I wish the blaster went a little bit deeper into the holster. That feels, or looks, a little bit janky. It doesn't. I've tried. I don't like having that much of the blaster sitting outside of the holster. It doesn't photograph well either. Best bit, apart from this incredible portrait and the amount of range of motion that it can get from being a sort of a two-socketed joint, is the fact that you don't have to remove it to go helmeted. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here in 2023 in Star Wars, you have a fully removable helmet. And it doesn't look oversized. I mean, the Boba Fett helmet should be a bit of a bucket. This looks legit. Love the collar, concealing the flesh, and it makes for a very comprehensive helmeted look. Ah, this figure is amazing. Jeepers. Rocker ankles. Perfect. So you can get his feet planted in numerous postures. What else to talk about? He has his blaster from Jedi. Now this is a bit of a chore to get right, because it's got a lot of geometry that you have to get a thumb around the back, 4 fingers over that bit, and then trigger finger in the trigger. And as I say, these fingers are so dainty, so everything bends and really threatens to fall out. I mean, grips were so much dumber in our day of O-ring Joe, and you couldn't get the same level of like realistic rifling, but you're almost better for it because you knew that once they were in, they were in. They weren't going to just sort of drop off with a little bit of handling. Okay, that was perhaps a little bit more than a little bit of handling. Oh man, these gloves are so good. Jeez. If there's one good thing to be pulled from Book of Boba Fett, I think I found it. Yeah. That's the man, the mystery, the myth that they have robbed sequentially by giving us way too much information on this guy. Now, yeah, getting him to properly hold the barrel is going to be a mission. You're going to have to bend these fingers forward because that is one meaty shroud. Yeah, look, one-handed grips, you're smiling. You can really kind of pull it into his chest there. Oh, this figure's good. Let's bring in some others to do some comparisons. Oh, erroneously, or not erroneously, but like just to pad out the perceived value, I'm doing one finger air quotes because that's what I think of that term. You get these 2 stormtrooper helmets, but they're not helmets. They're actually just disembodied heads. They even have the posts. But yeah, they've got unique battle damage on each of them, and it's not just a paint app. Like, this guy's got a little bit of like actual mold scarring. Yeah, I mean, why? Don't need it. Just finger food, as my buddy Paul would put it, but unnecessary. Whoops. I think the figure stands on his own 2 feet just fine, particularly if you can find it discounted. So I'm going to bring in old Din. Doesn't pose not necessarily as well, but then again, it seemed like the Mandalorian always had this weird kind of body language, weird walk. Maybe that was just courtesy of the actor and the stunt double. But yeah, size-wise, they're pretty much the same. My big issue is when you bring in the females, who actually look like children next to their male counterparts. I get the feeling that maybe male height is exaggerated in the action figures, whereas the sculptors actually stick to the actors' heights, relative heights, when it comes to the females. I don't know, that's just my theory. I think Male action figures are being exaggerated here, and they're getting the females accurate. These guys should actually be shorter. Or maybe the girls need to be taller. Either way, I don't think they are accurate to one another. She is way too short and way too tiny, which shouldn't be a bad thing, but when you compare them all like that, it does become a problem, and kind of takes me out of it. I want everyone to look good next to each other, look accurate, scale accurate. But take nothing away from the fact that this is my new favorite action figure of the now. I can't fault him, actually. Like, minor nitpicks like the hands being dainty, or the blaster sticking out too much, or him coming with just useless junk. Paint apps, detail, features, function, mixed mediums. This guy is the toast. Yojo. I give him 5 Jawas out of 5. Ooh, teeny.